Hi friends, welcome back to the Pushed Envelope TV. I'm Alex and today I am doing a sip chat. So I'm here in South Florida temporarily on hiatus from New York City. I left South Florida when I graduated college, so whatever college friends that I was cool with kind of stayed here or dispersed around the world and country, and I started my life in New York. I've since returned and I barely have really anyone to hang out with here on a consistent basis. I have a really good friend from college who's pretty nearby, but her life has taken on a different trajectory than mine as far as like having a child and being married while I am single and childless. I have no cares in the world except all of my existential crises and my anxiety and my financial worries and me not doing what I want to do in my career. Those are those things. So I wanted to do Sip Chat, kind of in place in the fact that I've been thinking for a very long time about doing a podcast, something that I don't want to do by myself, something that I can't focus on a topic for, and also me being more visual and wanting to appear and getting used to this. So what I wanted to do today was virtually sit down and have a glass of wine with my viewers and friends and family who watch my channel but maybe aren't near. I'd really like to sit down and enjoy a drink with and enjoy this summer rosé season weather, but are a little far from me. But I just want to get some things off my chest. So if you are watching and we are cool, or if you're watching in general, if you're watching and you feel compelled to talk back, please talk back. This is just kind of topical of the moment and very much like brunch chit chat, if you will. So thanks for watching even this far. Speaking of talking back to the screen, one place I do that all the time is listening to podcasts. Some of my top podcasts right now that I've been listening to for quite a bit, or I'm just like crazy about, that I wait for every week. Definitely The Read. That is like numero uno. Okay, that is a podcast I like never want to miss. And I thought about the other day, I'm like, what is going to happen when this podcast comes to an end? Not that it would be anytime soon. I was just thinking about it. I was like, well, everything comes to an end. Maybe not soon, but what am I going to do? Where will I be when this podcast comes to an end? What will have happened? And I don't ever want it to end, but let's be real. So The Read with Crystal and Kid Fury, which I've been listening to since like maybe a few months after it began, because I moved to New York in the summer of 2013 and it had just begun, and I started listening to it when I got my first job. I was at a desk job and I was like, I'm bored out of my mind. I need something to keep me entertained all day. So I went back to the very beginning of the series and listened to it, and I listened to every episode of the show ever. I think right now one of my favorite episodes, besides like all the Beyonce episodes, is Aubriana. Just because there's a part in there about Rihanna that I just love because I'm a huge Rihanna fan. What else? So, pardon me, I got to take a drink. Another podcast that I've listened to from the very beginning is Another Round with Tracy and Hebben. It was a BuzzFeed podcast. Hebben, if I'm remembering correctly, is no longer with BuzzFeed. Tracy is. They still get together and do the podcast. Of all of the episodes, I think the episode with Audie Cornish. So Audie Cornish's interview, Ta-Nehisi Coates' interview, Valerie Jarrett's interview, any episode with Bim Adewunmi, the Call Your Girlfriend, Another Girlfriend mashup episode, the Essence Festival recap episode. Oh my gosh, that is like one of my favorite ones. So, okay, I'm going to come back to that in a second, but those are like my top two podcasts. Let me just run down these really quickly. So, my other podcasts that I listen to and really love are TED Radio Hour, the permaculture podcast, because I'm a dork, and it's not very well known, but I just listen to it as a special interest. Represent from Slate with Aisha Harris and Marilyn Williams. Also Lip Service with Angela Yee and Stephanie Santiago and Gigi McGuire. That's a really great, funny, interesting show. And that's like mostly the rundown of what I listen to. I used to listen to Dormtainments, and then no hate, but it just wasn't for me. Like, I like something that can be thought-provoking or is kind of like in line with my thought, and I guess listening to a bunch of niggas talk was just not what it was about for me. So speaking of the Essence episode of Another Round podcast, I'm going back to Essence after maybe a 5-year hiatus from Essence Festival. It's been so long, and that's how long it's been since I've been to New Orleans as well. So I'm missing all of these things. I want fresh beignets. I want to be in that hot ass heat. I want to walk down the streets where it smells like spilled drinks and dirt and water, but also horse shit. I want to go have a good time. I'm going to a concert. Be honest, there's no need for you to go to a concert at Essence Festival. I know that's how they put the function on, but whatever. Just go and eat and drink. If you can't afford a concert ticket, just go to the convention center and get a bunch of freebies and see all the celebrities walking around and go to some of the really awesome panels. I swear to you, I explain it to white people as the United States is Black people's family reunion. Really, it is. It's an all ages appropriate fun fest. I think in your early 20s it's great. You go if you're single, you meet dudes, you meet niggas, you see your friends. If you're in a sorority, you see, your sorority sisters from different chapters and places around the country. If you, work in any industry, you can see somebody or something from anything that you're interested in or anything that you're invested in at that time, you can find there, whether it be in the food and the drinks and the entertainment and the going out and the panels and the branding and all of the businesses that put out their products and put their pop-up shops and things there. I'm so excited to go. I can't even wait. If you're watching this and you're going to be there, tell me. Because I just want to see, you see so many people in the streets. You see Ian Levanzant, but you also see Toya from reality TV. I don't know. That was really bad. That was a really bad range. So yeah, you see everyone. There's awesome food. It's hot. It's the middle of the summer. It's 4th of July weekend. Everybody's black and there and cocoa butter and, glistening skin and sandals and lots of linen and natural hair and drinks and just, it's so beautiful. It's like Lemonade meets Frankie Beverly and Maze in I don't know whose video, in the Big Pimpin' video, It's fantastic. So I can't wait to do that. But while I'm sitting here, it's not fabulous because I'm spending a lot of money. It's fabulous because it's just this outstanding experience. So yes, those are my podcasts. I'm going to Essence Festival. Tell me if you're going. Now, so I wanted to do a little question segment. I had some friends send me some questions about wine. There's very few questions not few, but kind of broader questions that I hear from a lot of people about anxieties about wine. If you're not a person who's in the know, or if you don't have the access to the information, and you probably aren't Googling it. And if you are Googling it, maybe you aren't understanding everything that's coming up, or you're not sorting through the information very easily, because let's be honest, most of my friends are not going to search beyond the first page of results in Google if they go past the 4th result. At least not to my knowledge, okay? So let's just break some things down. I had a friend ask me, wait one second. Is wine alkaline? Is it organic? And is it natural? So, is it alkaline? I do not know. But I'm going to guess no, because there's acid in wine. I mean, the acidity in wine, I don't know if that translates to actual acid, but whatever. I don't think it's alkaline. The second question I got was, so is it alkaline? Is it organic? Not all wines are produced in an organic fashion. So in wine, there is farming, and there's a type of yeast that you use, and there's a type of grapes that you use, and it's where you're farming and how frequently you're planting and when you're harvesting and how you're doing the grapes, whatever, so on and so forth. So there are organic wines that are labeled organic. It doesn't mean anything to me personally in the grand scheme of things. If something's organic, that's great, but in doing research into how producers make wine and what they do to their vineyards and the care that they give, you see how invested winemakers can be in their wine, and it shows in the result. It shows in the end result, and usually really good, well-made wines that are consistent and probably a little bit more pricey, especially old world wines where it's regulated on like how you can grow, how you can make the wine. There's a nobility to it, and I trust, especially in the old world, the process of winemaking from people who understand, from people who are invested in winemaking, that whose families have been doing it for generation after generation after generation. Because when a farm is organic, it has more longevity, and that's any type of farm. If something is maintained and it has respect for the cycles of the earth, it is built for longevity and sustainability. So these people who've had, 14 generations worth of winemaking in their family, they understand sustainability and longevity. So I'm not so concerned, because the things that are not organic are usually what are going to shorten the life of whatever it is that you're making. Whether you have a corn farm, whether you're planting arugula in your front yard, whether you're growing mangoes in a tree, or whatever it may be. Whew, that was a long-winded answer. Is it natural? Yes, it is natural for grapes or anything that grows from the earth to reflect the earth that it grew from. It's natural that when you add yeast to sugar and grape juice and age it and let it ferment, that it makes alcohol. It's natural that, when you age something on the lees or like on the remnants of the maceration process, that it picks up the flavors and the bitterness of it. Yeah, in my opinion, wine is natural. Now, what it takes for it to be natural in the grocery store is another thing that you'll have to look up. I'm supposed to be answering these questions, right? But yeah, I just feel like putting it into perspective is more helpful than like a textbook definition of like, yes, it's natural, because what is natural? Another concern that was brought to my attention was anxiety and just like feeling unqualified or silly or stupid when trying to order wine at dinner if you're not informed. Okay. Nobody wants to go look through Google before they go to dinner and worry about what they're going to order with their like fish or burger or whatever. I think really just some things to know about when you're ordering wine in a restaurant. Main grapes that you're going to pretty much always have on a wine list: Cabernet Sauvignon, which is a red wine; Merlot, Pinot Noir, Syrah, Zinfandel. Well, this is moving on to white grapes: Riesling, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Grigio, Gruner Veltliner, Chardonnay. Probably the most popular of those is going to be Chardonnay, Riesling for the whites. For the reds, Cabernet, and Pinot Noir. One thing to understand is that in each of these grapes encompasses a lot of different things. Okay, so I don't want to make this too long. If you're really confused about ordering wine, I suggest always asking for a taste of the wine that you think you want and getting invested in one, asking questions, and also finding something that complements your food. Another podcast I wanted to mention that I listen to frequently. I want my rosé. Another podcast that I listen to frequently is Call Your Girlfriend. It is like the modern woman's feminist, civically aware pop culture. Women supporting women in business and all things in life podcast. That's really awesome, and I love it. It's hosted by Amina Tussaud and Ann Friedman. So check it out. It's free. It's a podcast, whatever. I don't want to make this too long, so I just want to send a shout out to all my friends or whoever's watching this that's not near, that I would love to have a glass of rosé with IRL, but I'm not close, and I would love to have a sip chat with you IRL, but here we are. So thank you for digitally having a sip chat with me, and I'll see you IRL.